Welcome to KnowledgeNest. I'm your host. This is a place where wisdom takes flight. We all have that inner child within us who's curious about everything. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? Why do we need to learn? Because learning is like a superpower that lets you explore the world around you and understand how things work. And when you understand things, you become wise. And wisdom is the superpower that all of us inner children are seeking. So sit back, open your mind, and get ready to learn. You can learn about anything and everything. Just ask your questions, and we'll find the answers together. This is an open book, a world of knowledge waiting for you to discover it. So spread your wings and fly high, little knowledge seeker, because here in KnowledgeNest we believe that everyone can be wise. We all know that forgiveness is the key to a happy life. But sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes we find ourselves stuck in a loop of anger, resentment, and bitterness towards someone who has hurt us, betrayed us, or wronged us in some way. We find it hard to let go of that pain and move on. There's a beautiful analogy that I read in a book a few years back. It says, "Unforgiveness is like carrying a burning coal in your hands. You hurt yourself first, before you hurt the other." What does that mean? Let me share it with you. You see, when someone wrongs you, you feel angry and you want to punish them for what they have done. So you hold on to that anger and resentment, thinking that one day you will let them know how much they have hurt you. But what happens is that while you are holding on to that coal, which is the anger, you are the one who gets burned first. Why? Because you are holding on to that negative emotion. You are allowing that anger to take over your thoughts, your actions, your words. And this continues to hurt you over and over again. The best thing to do is to let go of that coal. To forgive does not mean that you are condoning what they have done. It doesn't mean that you are forgetting what they have done. It simply means that you are choosing to set yourself free from the bondage of negative emotions. When you choose to forgive, you are taking the first step towards healing. You are allowing yourself to move on and to leave the past where it belongs. This does not mean that you have to be friends with that person, but it does mean that you are setting yourself free. It takes a lot of strength and courage to admit that you have been wronged, to acknowledge the pain that you have been through. It takes even more strength and courage to forgive, to let go of that pain, and to move on. But trust me, my friend, it is worth it. Holding on to grudges and anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You are the one who is suffering. You are the one who is being poisoned. Let go of that poison. Forgive and move on. Set yourself free from the bondage of the past. I hope this helps. I have a quote that I would like to share with you. It's a very, very powerful quote. So remember this. Before you judge someone, try to see the world through their eyes. Forgiveness begins with understanding. Now let me explain what I mean by this. When we meet a person for the first time, we instantly start judging them. We judge them based on their looks, the way they talk, the way they smell, the way they dress. And we put them in a certain category in our mind, in a certain box. And then we start judging them based on that box that we put them in. For example, if someone is a drug addict, if we meet them, we will immediately judge them. We will not even talk to them because we have already judged them. We have put them in a certain category. Now there might be many reasons why that person became a drug addict. Maybe they had a very, very tough childhood. Maybe they were abused when they were young. Maybe they don't have a support system. Maybe they have all kinds of problems that we don't even know about. But instead of trying to understand why that person is a drug addict, we just judge them. Same thing happens when we meet a beggar. We judge them. We think that they're lazy or they do not want to work, or maybe they're just making up an excuse to get money. But the reality might be far from that. That person might be begging only because they have no other option. They might have no other way to survive. They might have a sick child at home who depends on the money that they get from begging. But instead of trying to understand why that person is begging, we just judge them. So remember, before you judge someone, try to see the world through their eyes. Put yourself in their shoes and try to understand their situation. Because most of the times we judge people because we don't understand them. We don't understand why they behave in a certain way. But if we make an effort to understand them, then we will realize that they are no different than us. They are just like us. They make mistakes. They fall. Sometimes they do bad things, but that doesn't give us the right to judge them. Forgiveness is the first step towards healing. If we can learn to forgive others, then we can start healing ourselves. So remember, before you judge someone, try to see the world through their eyes. Forgiveness begins with understanding. Forgiveness is the strength of the soul. Only the strong can let go of hatred. Hatred is like a heavy rock. It weighs you down. It makes your life miserable. You may think that you are strong enough to carry this burden, but it will eventually wear you out. The longer you hold on to hatred, the more it consumes you. It's like a fire that burns and burns and never goes out. But forgiveness is the water that puts out that fire. It's the only way to escape the prison of hatred. We all get angry. We all have the capacity for hatred, but it's up to us to choose how we respond to the wrongs that people do to us. Do we want to hold on to that anger and let it consume us? Or do we want to forgive and move on with our lives? When you forgive someone, you're not saying that what they did was okay. You're not forgetting about it. You're not condoning it. You're simply choosing to let go of the negative emotions associated with it. And that takes strength, friends. It takes strength to admit that you were wrong, that you made a mistake, that you need to apologize. It takes strength to say sorry and to mean it. And it takes even more strength to forgive yourself and to forget about it. But the truth is that we all make mistakes. We are all human after all. And if we don't forgive ourselves, then we will never be happy. We will always be looking over our shoulder, wondering if we are good enough, wondering if we are loved enough. You are loved, friends. You are loved by God. You are loved by your family and friends. And you are loved by me. Don't ever forget that. No matter what mistakes you've made in your past, no matter what wrongs people have done to you, you are still worthy of love. You are still worthy of happiness. So let go of the hatred, my friends. Let go of the anger. Forgive and be free. Thank you. We have to understand that anger, hatred, and irritability are signs of mental disturbance. They indicate that our mind is not at peace. The root cause of this unrest is our inability to forgive and forget. We keep on harboring negative feelings towards people who have done something or said something that hurt us. We hold on to these grudges, sometimes for years and decades together, and we wonder why our mind is not at peace. Why do we have to suffer? Why can't we be happy? This is because we have not learned the art of forgiveness. We have to understand that harboring negative feelings will not do any good to us. It is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you hold on to anger, hatred, and irritability, you are only hurting yourself, not the other person. The person who has done something wrong feels remorse and apologizes. But if you don't forgive, then your mind becomes a prisoner of the past. You keep on thinking about what has happened, what could have been, what should have been, and you keep on suffering. We have to understand that when you forgive, you do not erase the past, but you heal the future. We have no control over the past. We cannot change it, but we can certainly change the future. And this is in our hands right now. We can choose to let go of the past and move on. We can choose to forgive and to forget. This is an important decision that we have to make. When you start practicing forgiveness, you will see that your mental health improves. You become more positive, you become more cheerful, and you start enjoying your life. You become an emotionally intelligent person. People around you will also feel the difference. They will see that you are more calm and composed. They will notice a positive change in you. So, I want you to take a decision that you will not hold on to anger, hatred, and irritability. You will not let these negative emotions rule over you. You will learn the art of forgiveness. This is the only way to inner peace, to true happiness, and to a positive life. Let us all make a decision that we will live a life of forgiveness. We will not let the past disturb our present and our future. Every act of forgiveness builds a bridge. A world full of bridges is stronger than a world full of walls. Now, who said that? I don't know. But I really like the sentiment. Every act of forgiveness builds a bridge. And you know what? We need more bridges in our world today. We need to stop building walls. Walls of resentment, walls of bitterness, walls of anger, walls of hate. These are not helpful. These are not productive. They don't solve problems. They don't heal wounds. All they do is they build walls and they keep us stuck. How many of you have experienced this? You have been wronged, you have been hurt, someone has treated you unjustly and you're holding on to that. You're holding on to that resentment, that bitterness, that anger, that hate, and it's eating away at you. It's breaking your heart. It's destroying your peace. It's keeping you awake at night. It's making you feel anxious and stressed and worried. And you know what? That person who did that to you doesn't even know about it. They don't even care. They don't even think about you. You're not even on their radar, yet you're over here suffering because you're holding onto this wall that you've built around your heart. So what's the solution? The solution is simple, but it's not easy. The solution is forgive. You heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's for your peace. It's for your soul. It's for your well-being. You have to forgive. Now, this doesn't mean that you condone what that person did. This doesn't mean that you forget what happened. This doesn't mean that you become friends with that person. No. It simply means that you let go of the negative emotions that you're holding on to. You release the anger, the resentment, the bitterness, the hate, and you replace it with something more constructive, something more helpful, something that moves you forward. You know, we all make mistakes. We all hurt people. We all say sorry. And most of the time, the apologies we receive are insincere. They're empty. They don't come from the heart. But every once in a while, if you're lucky, you will meet someone who truly, sincerely apologizes. And when you hear those words, when you hear that sincere apology, it can bring tears to your eyes. It can bring back all the hurt and the pain. And the only way to deal with that is to forgive. When you forgive, you break down the walls and you build bridges. And when you build bridges, you create a stronger world. A world where there are no walls. A world where there is only love and peace and harmony. This is the world that we need. This is the world that we have to create. Start by building bridges. Forgive. Forgiveness is the key to peace. Forgive your parents, your friends, your neighbors, even forgive yourself. Because when you hold on to anger and resentment, it's like a stone in your shoe. It just makes life harder. And I know it's hard to forgive sometimes, but try to understand that everyone is doing their best to learn and grow. We all make mistakes. We're all imperfect. So when you forgive someone, it doesn't mean you agree with what they did. It just means you're choosing to let go of the negative feelings. And when you do that, you're freeing yourself from the burden of anger and resentment. You're allowing yourself to move forward and create new memories. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's so worth it. When you forgive, you can finally start to heal. So let go of the past and embrace the present. Forgive and forget. Thanks for watching Knowledge Nest. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Stay connected for more life-changing lessons. See you in the next story.